The $12 billion, we have no idea where it's coming from. So the 18 programs are getting eliminated, replaced with a block grant that's cutting $4.5 billion, and we have no idea and no detail of what is on the chopping block. That should say something to my colleagues on the Appropriations Committee, because this is our job. The role of Secretary of Education is an enormous responsibility. The American people look to the man or woman who holds this post as someone who performs their responsibility.
Education great again. It's a logic fallacy, but I guess we're not going to teach our kids about logic fallacies.
Thank
We
you.
we haven't yet with the Department of Education in place the way it has been since 1980. I'm on the record of ruling for change.
I now recognize the ranking member for her closing statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here. I appreciate your time and your effort. Let me just repeat. State and local taxes overwhelmingly pay for education in this country. And what we do know is that if you block grant current federal funding and you get it to the states, there is a cut. There will be programs cut. What we do not know anything about at the moment is what is going to be cut. We have no knowledge, and we're doing this hearing about appropriating dollars on a budget that we know nothing of at the moment. So, given that, but block grants we know are cuts. There is everybody at this dais, people who are here and people who are gone. And more than anything else, the states know that. You talk to any governor, and they will tell you they're going to cut our funding. And I dare to say there are not a lot of states today and a lot of governors who have the resources that they will need in order to be able to continue these programs. Let me also say, Madam Secretary, as I said in my remarks, you have no authority to dismantle the Department of Education. The President has no authority to dismantle the Department of Education. And yes, the Supreme Court has opined on that with Supreme Court Justice Scalia saying there's no inherent authority. And there's plenty of other cases and court determinations that it's not there, so you don't have the authority. You do not have the authority to steal congressionally appropriated dollars. That is in the United States Constitution. I hear people in the administration talking about adhering to the Constitution. Article 1, it's there. So what you are doing now, get to your budget for 2026, what's happened right now is unlawful. It is unlawful. And you have really unlawfully created and recklessly canceled grants for mental health, for the professionals in our schools, for psychologists, counselors, social workers, grants to support effective educator development, teacher quality partnership grants to make sure that more qualified educators are entering classrooms and relieving local teacher shortages, the Institute of Educational Contracts to researchers so we can learn about what works and what doesn't work to improve student literacy, which you care about, reduce chronic absenteeism, ensure college students complete their degrees so that they can get a good job. You have no authority. If children, teachers, principals benefited from a federally appropriated program in the last school year, they should benefit from that program this school year and not be subjected to any unlawful chaos that you seek to impose on them. You said right here and several times this morning that you will abide by the law. And I believe that. The law is 2025 budget is under a continuing resolution based on the 2024 budget, which has pages of directives as to what can be, what are the resources for, what the programs are for. As I understand you, and your commitment to abide by the law, which means that we are going to reverse these efforts that apply to 2025. And we will hold you accountable to that. I am glad to hear that you will abide by the law. And we all know what the law is. It was passed in the House. It was passed in the Senate, Civics 101, and the president signed it. It's the law of the land. You can't back off it willy-nilly. Let me mention I have a copy here of the table, Labor, Health, and Human Services and Education-related agencies here. And this is, move to the 26 budget. And people need to know this. Impact aid, we have no information about. Comprehensive Literacy Development Grant, eliminated. Innovative approaches to literacy, eliminated. We go to school improvement programs, most of it to be determined. We don't know where it's all going here. Indian education, no info, to be determined. Innovation and improvement. Basically, there's money for the charter schools, but everything else is to be determined. Safe schools and citizenship education, no information. English language acquisition, eliminated. I go back to my father. Couldn't read or write the language. They laughed at him and he left school. We do have kids in our schools who need to have English language and to do it quickly. That's what we talk about here. Special education, rehabilitation service and disability research, no info. Special institutions for persons with disabilities, no info. Career and technical and adult education, training, no info. And we had the Secretary of Labor here just a few days ago, and they have eliminated adult training and youth training in the WIOA programs here. Adult education here, eliminated. We don't know what will happen to Pell Grants. That is to be determined. The CEOG program, a Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, eliminated. A Student Aid Administration, to be determined. This is higher education, eliminated parts of it, or there are or no specifics. International education and foreign language, no specifics. Post-secondary programs for students and intellectual disabilities. You got federal, you got TRIO and Gear Up, eliminated. No specifics. Teacher quality partnership, eliminated. Child care access means parents in school, eliminated. Fund for the improvement of post-secondary education, eliminated. Howard University, no real specifics in that effort. Long and the short of it, this is the table that this committee with appropriations is what we're doing is without any information, we are being asked to provide resources and resources that have been cut by 15%. The $12 billion, we have no idea where it's coming from. So the 18 programs are getting eliminated, replaced with a block grant that's cutting $4.5 billion, and we have no idea and no detail of what is on the chopping block. That should say something to my colleagues on the Appropriations Committee, because this is our job. The role of Secretary of Education is an enormous responsibility. The American people look to the man or woman who holds this post as someone who performs their responsibilities with deep knowledge of our public schools and colleges. But when you opine about strategies to improve literacy, how to improve academic achievement, or help people get a college degree, I struggle to see why the public should look to you as such an authority. What experiences, what knowledge did you bring into this role that should give them any confidence that what you say or what the administration is saying is credible in terms of the future of their children.
Speaking during an appropriations hearing, DeLauro, the ranking Democrat on the House Appropriations Committee, zeroed in on a core issue that often gets lost in budget debates. Who actually controls federal education dollars? Her answer was unequivocal. Congress does. Subscribe now as we break this down step by step. DeLauro began by grounding the discussion in a basic reality. Most education funding in the United States already comes from state and local taxes. Federal dollars are meant to fill gaps, protect vulnerable students, and ensure a baseline of equity nationwide. When those federal funds are converted into block grants or frozen altogether, she argued, the result is not flexibility, it is cuts. She warned that block granting education funds has a long track record of shrinking programs, not strengthening them. States are forced to make impossible choices, often cutting mental health services, literacy programs, and teacher training first. Governors, regardless of party, know this reality well. Many states simply do not have the resources to replace lost federal funding. The heart of DeLauro's argument was legal authority. She stated plainly that neither the Education Secretary nor the President has the power to dismantle the Department of Education. That authority rests solely with Congress. She cited Supreme Court precedent, including opinions written by Justice Antonin Scalia, affirming that there is no inherent executive power to eliminate a federal department created by law. This is not abstract civics. Subscribe now to understand why it matters. DeLauro then listed the real-world consequences already unfolding. Grants for school-based mental health professionals, psychologists, counselors, and social workers have been abruptly canceled. Programs designed to train and retain qualified teachers, especially in underserved areas, are being dismantled. Research contracts that help schools understand what actually improves literacy and reduces chronic absenteeism are being cut off midstream. These are not theoretical programs. They directly affect whether a child gets reading support, whether a teacher gets training, and whether a struggling student stays in school. She made a simple but powerful point. If students, teachers, and principals benefited from these programs last school year, they are entitled to those same benefits this school year. Anything else creates confusion, instability, and harm. She walked through the proposed budget impacts in stark detail. Literacy development programs eliminated. English language acquisition funding eliminated, a point she personalized by sharing her father's experience leaving school because he could not read or write English. Adult education and workforce training programs eliminated. College access programs like TRIO and Gear Up eliminated. Teacher quality partnerships eliminated. Childcare access for student parents eliminated. Even Pell Grants and Student Aid Administration were listed as to be determined, a phrase that offers no reassurance to families planning for college. Subscribe now if you believe families deserve clarity, not chaos. The broader picture DeLauro painted was one of erosion. 18 education programs eliminated and replaced with a block grant that cuts billions of dollars overall, with no explanation of where the cuts will land. Congress, she reminded her colleagues, cannot do its job without information. Appropriations without details undermine the very role lawmakers are elected to perform. She closed with a pointed challenge to Secretary McMahon's credibility. The Secretary of Education, DeLauro argued, is entrusted with safeguarding the future of public schools and higher education. That role demands deep knowledge and experience. When policy decisions affect literacy, academic achievement, and college completion, parents deserve confidence that those decisions are grounded in expertise, not ideology. The exchange underscored a fundamental tension playing out in Washington: executive power versus congressional authority, and ideology versus evidence. As this confrontation signals, the battle over education funding is far from over, and the outcome will not just be felt in hearing rooms, but in schools across the country. Subscribe now to stay informed as lawmakers push back, budgets evolve, and the future of public education hangs in the balance.